Hello, boy army, welcome to another spicy one on the channel. It's been a week since we did a video on the channel. I was on holiday with my lovely wife. We have a baby due in about 2 months time, so we wanted to have a nice chance to get away together before the baby arrives. Hope you guys miss me. I'm back today. FIFA content has been a little bit dead the last 2 weeks. I'm hoping though, with Euro 2020, I don't really get why they haven't just renamed it Euro 2021, but I'm hoping with the Euros coming up that they're going to give us some spicy content, but they might not. So this video, we are going to look at real football and look at the Euros and predict the group stages. Before we get into that, I want to talk to you a bit about PGS esports, particularly the pro clubs, because pro clubs is something, especially at this time of year, when you start to get a bit bored of Ultimate Team, you can get involved with. PGS esports, you've probably seen me on my YouTube, Twitch, play in some of their leagues. I represented one of their teams in their Nations League. They have different days of the week, every day. They have different pro club leagues, sometimes do tournaments as well from all over the world. It's not just for Europe. Get involved. I'm going to put links in the video to download the app. They've got the app on Android and iPhone. Very simple and easy to use. Definitely want to get involved with PGS Esports. Come with the Zelboy seal of approval. Let's get into this video. Okay, so here we are. I'm using the, UEFA Tournament Predictor. We're going to go through each group, talk a little bit about it, and I'm going to talk about my reasoning behind my predictions. In Group A, I think it's pretty safe to say Italy, I think, is the number one. Obviously, anything can happen in tournament football where there's only a few games. You can get injuries, a red card can drastically change a group. All this can change. But for me, Italy are the bona fide favourites in this group for obvious reasons. Italy, I think, 4-time World Cup winners. They've still got some very top players. The team got a great keeper, Donnarumma. They've got quite an old defence. I think they've still got Chiellini and Bonucci playing for them. But still top players. Players like Verratti, Immobile's fantastic striker. I think Italy are outside dark horses to win the tournament, in my opinion. Italy, I don't think have conceded a goal in the last 8 or 9 games. I'd be very surprised if they don't at least make it through this group. Honestly, this is one of the tougher groups, I think, in terms of predicting the rest of it. The way I'm predicting, though, Turkey second, Switzerland third, and Wales fourth. I would like to see Wales get out of the group, and I definitely think they can. I don't think it's like 100% these 3 go through, because I think in 3 groups, yeah, they say they predict the 4 best placed teams. For me, I think Turkey have been pretty good. Have got some pretty good players. Yilmaz has been on fire for them in the last year. He helped lead Lille to the league title in France. I think Turkey are a good team. Switzerland always do pretty well at times. Wales, obviously, I think it was the last Euros they made the semis. If Bale reaches some form, he's obviously not the player he was 4 years ago. Wales, I just don't think they've got enough in their squad, but they definitely can get out of this group. I think Turkey have a pretty decent chance in this group. Italy, the strong favourite. So then second, fourth could go a few ways. Group B, I've got to put Belgium as the first seed. They're the number 1 ranked team in world football right now, I think. I don't think that they really are the best team in the world. I think the obvious best team in the world is the current World Cup holders, made the last Euros, France, but we'll get to them. Belgium, some question marks over De Bruyne. Is he going to be able to play in the tournament after the injury got in the Champions League final against Rudiger? But I think Belgium still across the team have a lot of quality. But if De Bruyne is not potentially fully fit, Hazard, not the player he was a few years ago, there's some question marks over how good a run Belgium can actually make, in my opinion, but they are obviously a very good side. Second, I'm going to put Denmark. Don't have really many stars in the squad, but they have a lot of decent international players playing across Europe. Scandinavian teams always tend to do pretty well. Saying that, I'm going to put Finland fourth, though, because I just don't think Finland have a lot of quality across the team. Russia, always a pretty solid nation. We don't tend to know a lot about Russia, because unless they have a superstar, they tend to always play in the Russian league. Still a very good league. Quite often does decent in Europe. Russia, Denmark, I could see them fighting for second. Finland, I think, are the worst team in this group. Putting Belgium as the first seed. Okay, this group now is probably one of the worst groups. I'm putting Netherlands in as the first seed. There's probably not going to be too many surprises in this prediction. In the tournament, there will be a few teams that surprise us and do bad. I think like Costa Rica made it out of a World Cup group that had England and Italy in it. Netherlands, I think, are the best team in this group. There's been a lot of issues with the manager there. I've been talks about the COVID vaccine and players not wanting it, and a lot of media hurrah about that. But I think Netherlands are a good side. I don't think they're what they were in the past, though. They've not got Van Dijk in this tournament, so I don't think they're going to go too far. I don't think they're going to win it, but I'm putting Netherlands as the first seed. For me, it's Ukraine or Austria next. I think Ukraine, I go in third. I think Austria now have some pretty good international players. They've got players like Sabitzer, Alaba, and Arnautovic, I think, still plays for them. I think those two are fairly close. And then Macedonia, done very well just to make this tour. I think it's North Macedonia, but I don't think they're going to go too far, so I'm putting them bottom. Group D now. I'm putting England as the first in this group. Biased as an England fan. Croatia, still a good side, but I don't think they are what... I think final probably outperformed anyway at the last World Cup. Some of their stars are aging. I think Rakitic is retired for international football. I think Modric is still playing, but he's not the player he was at the last World Cup nearly 3 years ago now. Still a good side, but a lot of the stars from that World Cup, Rakitic, Modric, Mandzukic, Kaluka, they've either retired or they're just not what they were, because they had a very old squad at the last World Cup, and a lot of their golden generations kind of not as good anymore. So I'm still putting Croatia as the second team. They're still a good international side. Scotland, Czech Republic. I'm going to put Czech Republic as third. I would like to see Scotland do quite well. I definitely think Scotland, Czech Republic can get out of this group in second place, potentially. Scotland, though, have had some issues with a COVID outbreak lately that a lot of the players are question marks whether they're going to be able to play in the first turn. England, Scotland should be a very feisty game, especially considering it's going to be played in a home nation. Group E. Before today, I'd have been 100% saying Spain to top that group. But there's a lot of question marks now over Spain with the COVID. The team are isolated. So I'm going to make a surprise here, put Poland as first. I think they're a pretty good side. If Lewandowski performs well, he's probably the best player in world football right now, or at least a debate for it. I think that Poland have a lot of scope to do well. If it weren't for this COVID outbreak, I'd be putting Spain as first. Spain probably still will end up top in the group. I think they won't have too many players missing. But there's been some questions over now. Real Madrid players in their squad, some weird management choices. I don't think Spain are what they used to be. But I'm putting them second still. I'm putting Sweden third. And we're going to put, I think it's Slovakia fourth. I don't know much about the Slovakian team. Sweden lost Ibra for this tournament, but they did make it to the tournament without him. And then we get to the group of death. Poor little Hungary. Any of France, Portugal, or Germany could win the tournament, realistically. If I'm looking at the top teams of the tournament, I'm probably thinking Italy, Belgium, Netherlands, England, Spain if they reach their potential, and then these three. There's not another group, really, where there's two top teams in it, and then you've got 3 and 1, so these teams probably feel very hard done to. I'm putting France as number 1. I think France are the best team in the tournament. Not unbeatable, but they're definitely the standout team in this tournament, in my opinion. I'm putting Portugal as second. I think Portugal and Germany both have quality teams. I think any of these 3 can win the group, can win the tournament. It's not a slight at any of these that I've not put them top of the group. I just think France are the best team. Hungary definitely have to be fourth in this group. Who knows? It wouldn't surprise me if Hungary somehow did something. Teams can have bad tournaments. Teams can have surprise tournaments. But I think these 3, all of them are potential winners of the tournament. I'm not going to go and do like predictions for the knockouts and all that. We will do that once we actually see the teams of the tournament. If I had to predict my team to win the tournament right now, though, it's going to be a boring one. It is going to be France. Probably the best team in world football. They won the last World Cup. It's not really lost any players. They've also got Benzema back for this tournament after his international hiatus. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate your support so much. I'm looking forward to the Euros. What do you think about this video? Do you agree, disagree with some of my choices? Would you like to see more real football videos on this channel? Appreciate you guys. Let's get into it for the Euros. Have a good one.